Hi everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. Nice to have you aboard. I got to tell you, we're talking about some pretty good news here today. Ag exports, well, with our prices dropping as much as they have in the grain side of our business, I can understand why those exports would be hotter than a pistol, but they're not. And as high and strong as our beef prices have been, you would think that that would be on a decline. It is not. And I'll give you a USDA recap on how our exports are ending up the year and what they're forecast for next year in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Every father would like to have their son farm with them and grandson and continue to farm. It's kind of a legacy, I guess. And then my dad was a farmer, and then of course then I am and my son. So actually Jackson, would be the fifth generation from my grandfather. It's going to be key for us to have American Ag Credit. It's a long-term partnership with them is what it is.
Well, friends, agricultural exports for fiscal year 2016. That's next year. Well, I'm kind of wondering about this. This is all according to USDA, just came out. Projected at 138.5 billion, down a billion from the revised 139.5 billion for the current year. USDA says despite the decline, Vilsack in a release said the strong pace of American agricultural export continues, noting that 2015 and 2016 both are forecast to be the third and fourth highest on record. That isn't too shabby, friends. We could become kind of bragging about that. Grain and feed exports forecast to be up 1.1 billion from fiscal 2015. That's our cheaper prices, isn't it? Paying off there. And guess what? Leading the way, according to USDA, wheat shipments. Well, I hope so, because that sick puppy on prices has got to, I hope, stop the downward trend and maybe kind of turn around and go up a little bit. Wouldn't that be nice? Cotton exports are forecast down a bunch. Exports of livestock, poultry, and dairy products are up 600 million for the year 2016, according to USDA, as the higher export volumes for a number of livestock products more than offset a decline in prices. Ag imports in 2016 forecast at a record $7 billion higher than this year, 2015. What's all that about? The largest gains, thank goodness, horticulture, sugar, tropical products, which we do not raise very much of in the Midwest. Now, some of you listening may not like my comment, but I'm only talking about the Midwest here, and I sure hope it doesn't hurt the prices of the rest of the products too. In the physical forecast for 2015, total forecast $139.5 billion for exports, down $1 billion from the previous forecast. Imports are down 1.5 from the previous quarter too, so that's enough of that. 80% of the rented ground owned by non-farmers. Did you know that? I thought that was pretty high. A total of 911 million acres are farmed in the U.S., not counting Alaska and Hawaii, which means rented ground represents nearly 39% of all farmland. And rent is an issue that has to be discussed between two people, the renter and the guy that owns the property, because with the difference in prices now with products, there should be a difference in rent, and there's a lot of talk and problems with that. China, it's seen as driving the commodity prices lower as uncertainty spreads. Their economic conditions are sick. However, they've got to have food products that they can't grow or raise, and so consequently they still are going to be a very important cog in our export business. How China goes may be how our U.S. prices go for grains and livestock. Speaking of foreign countries, Brazil, boy, are they planting soybeans. More again than ever before, and they like the price. And in fact, one farmer said, listen to this, if we don't plant soybeans, what do we do? I would think there'd be a few other products to grow over there, but man, I can remember talking on the broadcast right here 20 years ago when we talked about them bulldozing the trees all over Brazil down and getting ready to plant soybeans, and we talked about the thorn in our side that they will be for soybeans, and they have been just exactly that. Kind of like the Soviet Union, the Ukraine. Remember when they were buying all their wheat from us to survive? Every time they came in and bought, our market jumped 25, 50 cents a bushel. Now they're our biggest thorn in our side. And guess what? It's all because of America. Some people say that's great. Some people not so great. But in any event, it's our machinery, it's our fertilizer, it's our know-how, everything we gave to those people so they could suffice themselves, and I guess maybe that's the right way it should work. See you on the next Steckline Report.